Hey guys, today on League MVP, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest mistakes people make and oftentimes overlook. How little importance some stats can be in the game, especially your kill death ratio or KDA. Kill deaths and assists. My name is Armand, and in the background you'll notice a game in which I'm playing Fiora. In this game, I ended up being 14-4-2, with the second best KDA on the team being either the 7-4-10 mid laner or the 6-2-11 AD carry. I even came out with the most damage in this game, but not by much. However, I promise you I did not do well in this game, and in fact, for the most part, I believe that I got carried, outside of a few decent team fights that I think I played well. The first and most often biggest blinding stat in the game is going to be your KDA, and that's why I'm making it the main focus point of this video. Now, while having a great KDA consistently can point to a great play overall, each individual game's KDA stands alone and must be compared to that match itself to truly understand if it is truthful to what actually happened. Lots of times, players don't understand that simply having a lot of kills may be the result of a ton of random factors in which they didn't really do much except maybe snag a last hit, or simply because they happen to be getting last hits in general during team fights. This problem is especially true when considering certain roles, such as when a jungler may be like 5-0, but only manage to get those kills as cleanup, after the enemy team already managed to make something happen. You'll see them flame and talk about how their lanes are feeding, when in reality the kills they obtained are merely luck or based on whether or not the enemy team decides to make a mistake after making a good play. And in the long run, they end up being just a giant vacuum cleaner who gets a 6 score but didn't really do anything proactive. The reverse is also true, however, for laners. The jungler can be making some great ganks, and the laner gets a killing blow, and then at the end of the game, they flame the junglers when the junglers may not have, that great of a score, even though they weren't able to make use of their lead. Claiming their KDA means something, when in reality they by no means ever put themselves in a situation to get to where they were. Also, sometimes you can see this in bot lane, in which the support is really making all the plays and initiates, and then the AD carry gets the kills only to fall short of carrying the team, and then again flaming that same support who got them fed in the first place, and this problem is all too common. Not only do people with high KDAs who flame in lost games make no sense by blaming their team, because in the end they had the most gold, so they are responsible for carrying the game, and in actuality they're kind of flaming themselves for being unable to actually end up winning the game for their team. If you really want to improve at League of Legends, my biggest point I should drive home is that you need to look at your KDA and ask yourself, how did the score actually come to be? And be honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, who is going to be honest with you that you're going to believe? Really ask yourself if you made the moves and plays to gain such an advantage, or if you merely cleaned up, or if it was luck altogether. Being able to properly reflect on the game and the events that play it out will improve your future performances when you realize that maybe it really was luck and you made mistakes so you can change, even though they did happen to get you fed that one time. A good example would be, say you took a fight, when in actuality, the only reason you won the fight was because the enemy misplayed super hard. That's a fight you're going to lose a lot in the future, but you may not know exactly why, because that one time it worked. Another super misleading stat can be damage done. There's a significant difference between effective damage done and what I would call sponge damage or empty damage. Effective damage done is damage done in which it was dealt during a crucial time and had a huge impact on the game. Imagine doing about 3,000 to 4,000 damage in one team fight as an Orianna that secured the Baron, got you towers and inhibitors, and perhaps you won the game off of that fight. This would be great and effective damage done. In the opposite, thinking about sponge damage or empty damage, imagine doing 3 to 4k damage during the laning phase into someone like a Maokai when you're playing Teemo. The damage isn't very effective, isn't doing a whole lot to improve the state of the game, but nonetheless it is there, and there's no way to really tell the difference. In the post-game screen, this Teemo could have done the most damage in the game simply because he was smacking a never-ending sustaining tree named Maokai in the top lane while the rest of your team was actually fighting around objectives to get their damage done. This teammate sees all this damage and goes, "Wow, I really carried that game," when in reality, the damage he did is negligible and could have effectively not been done at all, with the possibility of the game ending the exact same way. These two stats, KDA and damage done, are going to be the biggest traps for certain players and can really narrow down your view of what actually happened in the game. If you happen to be watching the background recording while listening to this video, you'll see a perfect example of why I believe I didn't carry this game. Even with the most damage in the game, a lot of it was in lane, and not only that, but it was in fights I lost anyway, meaning my damage done was actually having a negative effect in the game. In the end, it will always be up to each individual to improve his or her gameplay, and they must be able to accept that maybe the stats aren't telling the whole story. Something I also want to say outright is that if you, the players listening right now, is someone who sacrifices their KDA for the team, someone who does go in first in team fights knowing their team will come out ahead for the win, then you are the MVP as far as I'm concerned. You understand the game past your KDA, and I want you to remember that having and understanding past stats is on the right track to improving. Don't take too much stress in your KDA as players, and don't let that guy who happens to be 5-0 but really did nothing in the game get you down. Focus on what will make the team win and do what needs to be done to get there. Lastly, I want to make sure that everyone understands that while each individual game's KDA may not tell a completely honest story about the game, a KDA that's overall high after like 20 or so games can also be an indication that maybe you're playing too safe. Make sure that your win rates correlate well with your KDA, otherwise, if you're losing too many games while you're getting fed all this time, then maybe you're not taking enough risk and you are actually playing too safe and not going for those plays that you need to be making to push that game from a loss to a win. If you guys have any questions about what I talked about in today's video, feel free to leave a comment and subscribe if you want more daily videos like this. Any criticisms and feedback would be much appreciated, as I am new to doing these styles of videos and would really enjoy getting my opinion out there and having a conversation with everyone. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.